DJ's Choice is the 12th episode of the 8th season of Full House. This is directed by John Tracy, and as always there will be spoilers from now as I go through the episode and share some thoughts, and I'll talk about the playground part of the story first, and then I'll talk about DJ. To be honest, I don't have that many thoughts. It's not the strongest episode, there's nothing wrong with it, I don't dislike it. It's just not the most interesting, but it is absolutely fine. Michelle starts off teaching Nicky and Alex how to swing by swinging their legs rather than having somebody push them. And one of my favourite moments with Michelle is when the boys are copying her and she says, "Not everything I do, huh?" And she says, "huh," the way Jessie does. And I just thought that was absolutely adorable. And this leads us into this part of the narrative as they then go to the playground. The adults are there as well, and Becky and Danny. And somebody has trashed the playground. So the adults start working on building the park. I don't know if this is legal or something they should be doing. I feel like you need planning permission for this, but nevertheless, if we overlook that, they are working together to create a nice play area, and it's quite nice to see. Joey breaks Jessie's hammer, and then, okay, so one of my favourite moments in all of Full House, Kimmy is launched from the seesaw, and it's just so beautifully executed. It's very brief, but it's very funny, and I rather enjoyed it. And the episode as a whole ends with Joey stuck to a fence. So we have some comedy in there. It's, I guess, got a nice message about vandalism or anti-vandalism, and it's sweet. It's not the most believable, it's not the most moving or meaningful, but it works. And then we come to DJ. And Kimmy, Nelson, Stephanie, DJ, and Viper are going to the fair. Kimmy then sticks her face in cheesecake at a very strange moment, and then Viper turns up and he tells DJ that things are moving too quickly, and he breaks up with her. Because apparently if things are moving too quickly, the only option is to break up with somebody rather than saying, "Can we slow it down?" Really highlighting the fact that Viper is very, very immature. And obviously DJ's confused by this. It came absolutely out of nowhere. Nelson comforts her, and they all go off to the fair without Viper. And when they come back, Nelson and DJ kiss. And then Nelson trips over the trike. We get quite a bit of physical comedy in this, which I rather enjoyed. I'm not usually a huge fan of physical comedy, but it does work really well here. And I will say it's not a great look for DJ, because she's been dating Viper for a good chunk of time now, and the day he breaks up with her, she's kissing somebody else. I could just never imagine doing that, having your heart broken, being abandoned by somebody you at least care a lot about and have spent a lot of time with and have presumably kissed very recently, to then kiss somebody else. It's not a good look for DJ, and to be honest, I don't know if I buy it with her character. I don't know if I believe that this is how DJ would respond, but nevertheless, this is what happens. And I was a little bit concerned as well that she was using Nelson as a kind of rebound. Maybe that's believable, but it's just not a good look for DJ at all. And then Viper comes back. He made a mistake. He sings a song to DJ. Nelson brings her flowers. And then they're basically competing to get DJ to date them. And then Nelson, obviously being very wealthy, pays Frankie Valli to sing "I Can't Take My Eyes Off of You" to her, which was a lovely moment and definitely a grand gesture. But he is, in a way, trying to buy her love. And DJ ultimately decides that she doesn't want to be with either of them. Now, her reasoning doesn't make sense. She basically said that if they're forcing her to choose, she doesn't want to be with them, either of them. But actually, I think they should force her to choose, because otherwise she's just stringing both of them along. She has to make a decision, whether that's deciding neither of them or one of them, but it is not fair on Nelson or Viper that she strings them both along. So I don't think they were in the wrong for forcing her to choose. Maybe they were both being a bit too intense with trying to win her over. I can absolutely see that argument. Paying Frankie Valli to sing to somebody just to try and convince them to date you while you're in a competition with somebody else, it is a lot. It definitely is a lot. And it's very clear that while it wasn't Nelson's intention, it does seem like he was trying to buy DJ's love and affection. So I understand why she maybe became a bit overwhelmed. But to say that she's not going to date either of them because they were forcing her to choose is honestly really entitled. She feels like she shouldn't have to choose. She can date them both at her own pace. And that's not fair. That's not fair to either of them. So DJ's just not very good in this one. She's not great at all. And I didn't really like that part of the episode. But I also don't like Viper. So the less we have of Viper, the better. In general, DJ's Choice is an okay episode. It's not the most memorable. It's not the most well written. It's not the most believable with regards to the playground aspect, but also DJ as well. But there are some really funny moments, mostly with physical comedy, Kimmy being launched off of the seesaw, Kimmy with her face in the cheesecake, Nelson tripping over the tricycle. Those aspects are really good fun. I think it's quite a forgettable episode as well. It's not the most memorable, but it's fine. It's okay. DJ's Choice ultimately is not the strongest, but it's certainly not a bad episode of Full House.